Hello everybody and welcome to the video. If you're new here, welcome in. If you're coming back, welcome back. Happy to have you again. In today's video, we are going to be doing the second installment. What's that I hear? A possible series of the Redesigning My Childhood. And this time we are doing Minecraft Diaries once again, but instead of the good guys, we are focusing on the villains of the story. Ooh. We will be redesigning Zane, Michi, Ivy, and Jean. Those are the main four that I really wanted to focus in on and draw because I'm very, very excited to get their designs done. But yeah, I'm really, really excited about this. And if my voice sounds a little weird, it's because I'm still recovering from a head cold, so apologies on that behalf. But thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and like the video, and turn on notifications so that you never miss one of these ever again. Without further ado, let's hop right to it. Alright, so the first person that I decided to start with was, of course, my favorite, a fan favorite, Zane Romave. Romave. I said Romave, but, you know, people, tomato, it's the same thing. But I have a lot to say about him, so I'm gonna wait until the line art and coloring to jump into all of that. But here's his cute little sketch. I think he looks really cute. Alright, let's jump to the rest. See, in my humble opinion, Zane's character is very fascinating to me for many, many reasons, especially if you guys are on Tumblr and like the headcanons and like rewrites. Bro, they're amazing. They're beautiful. Oh my gosh. Like I saw a rewrite or a headcanon, or maybe it was both, of someone explaining how he was a priest for Irene and he got tired of hearing all these people. Like, he got tired of Irene not answering prayers, right? And so he did research, and he found out about the relics, and then he became obsessed with getting those relics, because at first it was to, you know, help the people that he serves, but then it became more of a power thing. And that's such a scrummy, like, ideal. So I took heavy inspiration from that, because I wanted to keep his priestly look and vibe and even presence. I wanted his presence to scream off religious figure and authority and respect. But controversial, I know. I didn't give him the whole mask and hair shebang. So sorry if that's what you were wanting, but I just felt like it was too much covering his face, because between the hair and then the mask, it was too much. It was too much, and I was like, no. He's elusive and mysterious, but not that much. So, but yeah. But because I wanted to portray that elusiveness and that mysteriousness and that authority and power and religion, I decided to give him that position and pose of poise and grace and elegancy, but then also that coldness. You know, his eyes are more dead. He's getting tired. This is getting repetitive. He's tired of his brother's flack, and he's having to clean up after his brother. Stuff like that. So I wanted to show that in his color palette and in his, you know, stance as well. But his color palette, I wanted to keep it in the blue tones, but also simultaneously keeping it in the blacks and grays. Because in my head, right, I wanted it to be blue tones because, or I guess blue tinted is the appropriate word, my bad. I wanted it to be blue tinted though, because I wanted him to be the shadow of his brother, if that makes sense. Like, his brother has these bright, vibrant blues, right? And he's just this bright character in general, and his colors are a lot more vivid. I wanted his colors to be more dulled and dark, and I wanted it to show that he is the shadow of his brother. Because between his brother Garth fleeing from being the responsible one after the king, and then his other brother dying, it became a thing where he was a second thought, you know? And I wanted to portray that in his color scheme, and not only that, but obviously his pose and all that fun stuff. I did realize afterwards, after I did all the pieces, that in the last lineup that I didn't shade. So that's awkward. But I just also think that there's a lot of stuff that aphmau really missed out on, in my opinion, like leaning into the religion and the religious side, and you know how that religious structure looks with Irene and all the other divine warriors and stuff like that. I just feel like it was a missed thing, and that's really sad. So I leaned more into that divine warrior religious look. I put Irene's symbol all over him. But yeah, and then we're gonna talk about his sword. So for his sword, I can't say I'm a huge fan of it. It's really not my favorite. We again see the Irene, you know, symbols, you know, like the handle. I don't remember what it's called, but the handle, I think, is the Irene symbol. Then you have the necklace wrapped around, obsidian looking stone. It's basic, but you know, it gets the job done. So and now we chug right on along to Michi, who is a really minor villain. She just kind of pops up every now and then, but she's very mischievous, so I wanted to give that in her pose. And I also took inspiration from the Cheshire Cat, which you'll see later in her section and segment. But yeah, I don't have too much to talk about regarding her, but let's move on. As far as Michi's design goes, I had a picture in mind. I had a picture in mind for her, like, face and, you know, like, how she looks. But then when it came to, you know, wardrobe, I panicked a little bit. I knew for sure that I wanted her to have big, wild hair, so that's exactly what I did. She looks very pretty. But then for wardrobe, her original skin is it's not really fantasy, you know, it's not a fantasy vibe. So I just kind of had to give her my own spin on it. So I made her original design essentially into a dress, sort of, vaguely, kind of. But I kept the stripes and all that fun stuff. I just wanted to make her look mischievous and cute, and I took a lot of inspiration from the Cheshire Cat, and I think it fits her. She's not a well-written villain, so it's kind of hard to characterize her very well, but I think I did a good job in portraying her, so there. As far as colors go, I stayed pretty true to her color palette. I desaturated her hair a little bit. It just felt way too bright for a fantasy genre, I guess. But I desaturated a little bit, plus it felt way too bright for like I almost said villain character. And I wanted the cat, or I guess, I don't know what they're called. They're the cat people. I don't know if they have a name or not, but I wanted the cat people to be, you know, more cat-like. So I gave her some little fur in different places, and then I gave her little cat feet and a cat tail and cat ears, and it's all great. It's all great. And then as you can see, I changed the stripes up a little bit, and yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about her colors. Her main color is purple. That's literally the only color in her skin, really. It's just purple and gray. But yeah, she's an okay villain. She was never really my favorite. It felt like every time she showed up, it was just because they had nothing else. There was nothing else going on, so they're like, all right, let's toss Michi in there and she'll throw a love potion at someone or something. Because that was literally all that she would do. She would just throw potions at people, and then, like, I never understood her motive. Maybe because I'm remembering wrong. I don't really know. But she just didn't really seem like a motivated villain. She didn't really seem like a fascinating villain to me. So, if there's anyone who knows more about Michi lore, leave it down in the comments. I would love to hear it. But me personally, she wasn't my favorite villain of all time in the series. That's probably reserved for Zane, to be honest. But I still enjoyed drawing her. She was a lot of fun to do, and I really like her. And as for her, I guess, weapon of choice, I just made a satchel full of potions, just stocked up with love potions, poison. I don't know what else would she make. But yeah, I like her. I like her design more than I like her, to be honest. She reminds me of Cheshire Cat, and I like that. Cheshire Cat as a human, partially, almost. And if Cheshire Cat had a bunch of potions and like throwing them at people for funsies. So that's Michi all summed up there for you. Just throwing potions 24/7 as the Cheshire Cat. Next up on the plate, we have probably one of the most hated villains, in my opinion, in the series, at least for me. I can only speak for me. But we have Ivy. I really like Ivy. I love her design, and I love that I hate her, because you're supposed to hate villains, and I wanted to exude power and authority in her pose, so I hope I did her justice. I really like Ivy. I love her design. I really liked that she was just the type of villain that nobody really liked. Not in the sense like, oh, that's my favorite character. Like she's such a good villain that no one likes her. You know? I don't know if that makes sense or not. But I really, really, really love designing her. I remember way back when I did a redraw of her. I drew her once and then I redrew it again, and this is sort of, I guess, in a way, my redraw once again. But I wanted her to have like either spikes or pokes or something prickly on her armor design, because her name is Ivy, and when I think of Ivy, I think of like, I don't know, thorns for some reason. So I wanted to give her that, spook factor, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I wanted her to just look deranged, because from what I recall of her, she was pretty deranged. Like she was kind of insane. And that's what I loved about her. At least, I mean, again, I could be remembering wrong. You know me, I got bad memory. But I really, really liked just how crazy she was. Like she was insane. And it was just such a good move for a villain, at least in my opinion, because there was no means that she wouldn't stop at. Like there wasn't one thing that was too far. There was just no such thing for her. And I did give her, sort of the Caitlyn claws on one hand, because I just know that she would do that just to get under Caitlyn's skin. But let's move on to coloring. I'm excited to keep talking about her. In other artists' renditions, I also just wanted to bring this out since I didn't bring it up in the line art, but in other artists' renditions, I had seen people give her really light curly hair, and I just didn't want to do that for her because it doesn't feel like her, So I gave her like pin straight hair, maybe with a little bit of volume, with a little bit of poof. And then I also showed in her roots because I do think that she has darker hair, and she definitely, you know, dyes it. Of course she does, because she's that extra. But I gave her, you know, all the good pinks, all the good magentas, and I really liked designing her armor. Like, this was such a fun armor piece to design. It was so much fun. The Jury of the Nine, overall, they're just so cool. Like, I'm sorry, they're just really cool. I know that the majority of them are the bad guys, but they're just really, really cool. And plus, the whole designing their armor is really, really cool. Like, I did a Caitlyn drawing just for funsies that I didn't really post because I was like, it's not that good. It's just a little sketch, a little doodle, a little thing for me, you know? But, like, you saw little snippets of it because I was referencing it because I wanted it to be uniform. But it's so cool. I love the Jury of the Nine. It's a fascinating thing too, because it then leads to the whole, well, Zane wants power. He has some of the most powerful soldiers and warriors under his command. Like, he's the leader of them. So clearly he wants more, you know? But she's so cool, man. She's a good villain because you hate her, and you're supposed to hate her. You're not supposed to like her. But oh man, she's so cool. She's that villain that, like, you don't want to root for, but, like, you kind of do, because she just wins so often that it's like, man, I really don't like you, but, like, you're winning a lot, and it kind of makes me frustrated. For her weapon, I gave her this really sick scythe. I actually really, really like the design of the scythe. Like, look at that. Look at those shapes. Oh, man. It's so good. And then the design, the little symbol as well. Oh, so good. I love her design so much. It's gotta be my favorite. And last, but certainly not least, we have Jean, who became way more prominent in the revision or reimagination, whatever you want to call it, the redo of the series. That aphmau never finished. But Dante's older brother and a Shadow Knight. And as you can see, I was really struggling on what I wanted to do for him, because I was like, oh, I could do his Shadow Knight form, but I decided against it and do his normal form. And in my opinion, I visualize the Shadow Knights as very, like, demony and netherworldy. So they're gonna have, even if they're not in their Shadow Knight forms, they have a tail, and they have, like, long beast-like fingers and nails and toes and feet, and they have longer ears. Like, they're not really human anymore. They became one with the fire and brimstone, and one with you know, everything that has to do with the netherworld. So there he is, though. There's his little pose, his little mischievous and devious pose. He's an interesting character who got further development that, honestly, he needed, because he was kind of bland before. Carrying on that idea, when I say that Jean beforehand was pretty bland, I mean it. He had almost zero character development. The only thing that we really knew about him was that he's rude and annoying and was Dante's older brother. Half brother? I can't recall the specifics of it, but I know that they're related. But as far as the Shadow Knight's design goes, there were so many ideas I had, because I was tossing and turning and I hadn't fully, you know, ironed out the Shadow Knight's armors and designs and stuff like that yet. Because I was going to do that as an original video, and then I decided not to, and it was a whole thing, and yada yada yada. I may do, like, Shadow Knights and Jury of Nine, like, on their own concept type thing. I don't know yet. But aren't his little clawsies so cool? That's my favorite part about their design that I've come up with, is their little clawsies. And if you saw on his neck, there is a slit on it, or a scar of a slit. And that's because in my little headcanon, he died that way. So they still have how they died, and the markings and the scars and stuff. But there's their little Shadow Knight symbol, and there's his little tail. It's so good. It's great. I love it. As far as colors go, his colors, you know, not ironically, match up with his brother's a bunch, because we have the red and then we have the bluish. His hair has a blue tint to it. It is very dark, I know, but the blue is there, and that's all that matters. But I basically just wanted to have, I went ham with the Shadow Knight designs, I won't even lie, but it was so worth it, because it's just, I mean, look at it, and the colors are so nice. It's that nice crispy maroon, and then we stay in those red families. It's just, and then we have the gold and the orange accents for the symbols, and then there's like little baby skulls and teeth along the armor. It's just, come on, how can you say no to that? It's just too good. It's too scrummy. He's, man, so good. As far as Gene as a villain goes, originally he was very bland. Like I said, he had almost no character to him, and luckily in the revival he got a lot more character to him, and I really enjoy that because I love Shadow Knight lore and I love angst too, so it was a win. But as far as weapon goes, I wanted his weapon to look crooked. I wanted it to look bent up and out of shape and gross and scary and all that fun stuff, and like it came from hell itself. So I hope I succeeded, and here they are. I had a heck of a lot of fun doing this, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. So without further ado, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and thank you for clicking my video out of all those other videos, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day, guys.